of you may have seen the Channel 4 documentary about 18 months ago, Spying on Hitler's Army. It was featured Fritz and myself amongst others, and it was based on Trent Parks' heritage. I just want to read you an advert, World War II advert that was found by one of the intelligence officers in German, and here's the translation, written by one of the German generals. It said, "Park Sanatorium, first-class accommodation, running hot and cold water at all hours of the day. Also baths on the premises, 4 generous meals daily, first-class English cuisine, regular walks under expert guidance, large library of carefully chosen literature of all countries, table tennis tournaments, billiards, chess and bridge circles, instruction in art and handicrafts, alcoholism cured without extra charge, moderate terms varying according to social position, best society assured at all times." Now, when I stumbled across that in an intelligence report, I was astounded. I probably am one of the first historians to look seriously at the intelligence reports. Trent Park was run by a branch of MI6, okay, no less than a branch of MI6, and its history has remained hidden. It's only in the last 10 years that the files have been declassified, 100,000 transcripts. I haven't worked through all of them, but quite a lot of them. And when you look at them initially, they look incredibly boring, and I think that's why historians have overlooked them. And it was a very, very clever deception plan. The German generals had had their interrogation on a different site, and they were brought under escort from the battlefields to Trent Park. They came down that beautiful mile-long road, and they saw the house. And instantly, their egos went through the roof. They thought, we are being treated according to our status. And they were greeted by their welfare officer, Lord Aberfeldy, who was a cousin of the king. Of course, he was nothing of the sort. He was an MI6 officer. And when I discovered this, this is just quite incredible. And so their guard went down. Trent Park was opened for prisoners from May 1940. From January 1940. From May 1942, it was reserved only for the German generals and colonel and above. By the end of the war, we were holding 59 German generals. That's a heck of a lot of Hitler's command. And of course, they thought they were running the show. I'm just giving you, in the few minutes I've got, a flavour of the importance of this site, not just locally, but for our national World War II history. So they thought they were running the place. They soon divided into pro-Nazi and anti-Nazi, and they had the most incredible debates, and they don't reserve their conversations to the weather. To give you another kind of just one incident, as more officers were brought to Trent Park, Lord Aberfeldy was given the task of telling the German generals they would have to share bedrooms. Well, there was no way they were going to share bedrooms. And they had a little meeting in the dining room, and of course the dining room was fitted with bugging devices, so the intelligence officers knew exactly what they were saying. Secret listeners like Fritz, and he'll say a few words in a moment, were listening to everything. And they went back to Lord Aberfeldy, and they said to him, this is incredible, I couldn't believe I was reading this stuff. It's like something out of a play. It's better than Downton Abbey, I tell you. It is. And they said to Lord Aberfeldy, we've met, we've discussed this. We are generals, we are not sharing bedrooms. We are going to sleep on the staircases, we're going to sleep in the hall and in the corridors. Lord Aberfeldy said, gentlemen, they were known as our guests by MI6, you may sleep on the stairs, you may sleep in the corridors, but you are not to move a single piece of furniture. I love it. You cannot move your beds. I love it. So for up to 3 years, some of the generals were based at Trent Park.
Just hold on one moment, just in full flow. Whoever owns LM63PXX, your car's about to be towed away, so I will leave now. LM63PXX, please go.
So, what's quite extraordinary then at Trent Park was run as a gentleman's club for the German generals. They came from the battlefields with their batman, that's like their valet, their butler, and they were allowed to keep their Nazi uniforms and their medals. One of them insisted on going to bed with his medals. Anyway, and then you had the most extraordinary case, Hitler's birthday. They spent weeks planning how they were going to celebrate Hitler's birthday. And they come down in their Sunday best. They come down, and the listeners are picking all this up, you see. There's a very serious side to this too. They come down in their Sunday best, and some of the anti-Nazis, there is concern that they're not going to toast Hitler on his birthday. What are they going to do? The pro-Nazis say, we're going to expel them from the officers' corps. They'll be on trial when we get back to Germany. Quite incredible. And the batsmen started to mutiny because they only had beer to toast Hitler and not champagne and wine. What is this? It had, and I'll just finish in a few minutes, with a very, very serious side, which was, as I believe, as important as Bletchley Park. It's a parallel operation for winning the war. Bletchley was, of course, the enigma and the decoding. This was the human side of intelligence. How do you get the information out of the brains of those German generals? They're not going to give anything away in interrogation. You understand very cleverly their psyche. Churchill eventually forbade the pampering of the generals. He loved what was going on at Trent Park, but guys, you're going too far, he said to MI6. MI6 just ignored him and carried on. And you know, they got the most incredible intelligence. So from this kind of farcical lifestyle that the generals were running the show and they thought they were really ruling the roost, the microphones, the secret listeners who were in the basement of the house were picking up everything. And those transcripts survive. I give you just one example from the mass of intelligence that we picked up that was fed into our operations, naval, air, army, after D-Day, of course. This stuff fed right across the command. The most important, one point that was discovered, 1943, the fall of Stalingrad, and one of the German generals turns to the other and says, that's it, we've lost the war, this is the beginning of the end. And the other guy leans in close to the fireplace, they sat by the fireplace, he says, no, we've got the secret weapon. Secret weapon? The British intelligence is pricking up. They then pull the RAF reconnaissance photos from the year before, and they realise very quickly, the generals then start talking about Peenemünde on the North German coast. As a direct result of the work at Trent Park, just one item of intelligence, we would not have realised in time that the V1s and the V2s were being developed. And as a result, Churchill ordered Operation Crossbow, August 1943, a very costly mission for our pilots, but it set back Hitler's secret programme by several months, enough to buy us time and to enable us to carry on with the D-Day plans. And I do believe, and more work needs to be done on this, that without this discovery we could not have landed on the D-Day beaches. This site is hugely important. It's a wealth of colour, it's quite farcical, it's quite humorous on many levels, but it has a deeply serious side, and of course they overheard atrocities against Jews, Poles, etc. There was very little they did not pick up at Trent Park, and I think we need to raise the nation's awareness. Thank you.